Journey to Older Tales. The Pied Piper of Hamelin.
Once upon a time, there was a small town in Germany called Hamelin. The townspeople lived peacefully, but one day, something strange happened.
Mom, there's a rat in the kitchen.
What is this? Rats are everywhere.
Soon, the town was overrun with rats. They raided the granaries, nibbled on the bread at the market, and even crept into homes to trouble the people. At night, their scurrying on the rooftops kept everyone awake. The townspeople were filled with worry, wondering how on earth they could possibly drive away these dreadful rats.
At this rate, we'll have nothing left to eat.
What should we do? The rats are ruining our town.
As the rats multiplied day by day, the townspeople sank into despair. The mayor and elders gathered in the town square to discuss a solution, but no one could come up with a sure answer. Rats had invaded every corner, leaving the people unable to enjoy a proper meal or a good night's sleep, and even the children were too scared to play.
We can't go on like this. We must find a way.
Despair and anxiety spread throughout the entire town. At that moment, a stranger appeared in the town square. He was dressed in a colorful outfit from head to toe, with a shining flute hanging from his belt.
I am the Pied Piper. I will rid your town of the rats.
His proclamation left the townspeople staring at one another in astonishment.
Can he really drive away the rats? How will he do what we couldn't?
After a brief hesitation, the mayor and elders promised him a reward, and the Pied Piper simply smiled, then pulled out his flute. The Pied Piper quietly took out his flute and began to play a mysterious melody. His flute sound was as smooth and captivating as if it were magic carried on the wind.
Wow, this sound, it really is magical.
A child exclaimed with sparkling eyes.
The rats are responding to the music. Unbelievable.
An adult shouted in amazement. As the song-like melody spread, the distant rats began to emerge one by one. They exchanged glances as if dancing, and soon they started following the Pied Piper's every step. The Pied Piper led the rats out of town toward the river. His music acted like a conductor, organizing the rats into a neat line as they obediently followed him.
Wow, they're moving in such an orderly fashion.
A local exclaimed in awe.
I can't believe our town is being tidied up like this.
Another resident marveled. The rats quietly followed the flow of the river and eventually reached the riverbank. Then, all at once, they leaped into the deep water, leaving the townspeople to breathe a sigh of relief. With the rats completely gone, the town was filled with joy. People poured into the streets, hugging each other, dancing, and singing in cheerful voices.
At last, peace has returned. Let's celebrate together.
A resident shouted loudly.
Now we can smile once more.
Another exclaimed with a bright smile. After driving away the rats, the Pied Piper approached the mayor to claim the promised reward. However, the mayor and the elders exchanged looks and shook their heads.
The rats are already gone. Why should we pay you now?
One elder complained.
Our town has regained its peace. We do not need your reward,
declared the mayor firmly. The Pied Piper looked at the mayor with eyes mixed with disappointment and sorrow, quietly tucking his flute away into his pocket. Seeing that the townspeople had broken their promise, The Pied Piper was filled with deep disappointment. Then, he once again took up his flute and began playing a new melody.
Hey, listen! I can hear the tune again. What's happening?
A child asked with a tone of curiosity.
Why is he playing his flute again? What new magic will unfold this time?
Another child wondered, eyes sparkling with anticipation. This time, it wasn't the rats but the children of the town who were drawn out by the enchanting sound. Their faces showed a mix of curiosity and a little fear, yet they were irresistibly captivated by the music. Enchanted by the piper's tune, the children began to follow him as if in a dream. Only then did the parents realize that their beloved children were disappearing one by one, and they cried out in panic.
Where are our children going?
A mother shouted, trembling with fear.
Stop! Children, come back!
A father urgently called, yet the children had already vanished into the deep forest. In the children's eyes, there shone a mysterious light as if they were entering another world, a sight that broke the hearts of all who watched. The Pied Piper led the children to a vast cave on the outskirts of town. The entrance to the cave was dark and mysterious, with a faint light seeping out from within.
Where is this place? It's so enchanting.
A child exclaimed with wonder.
Should we go inside?
Another child suggested cautiously. As the children stepped into the cave one by one, suddenly a massive boulder rolled down and sealed the entrance completely. The townspeople who had been watching from outside were filled with horror and sorrow. After all the children had vanished into the cave, only one child was left behind in the town. This child, whose legs were too weak to walk properly, could not join the procession led by the Pied Piper.
Why am I the only one left?
The child asked softly, tears in their eyes.
You must stay here and remember everything that happened today.
The parents pleaded with deep sorrow. The child, with a sorrowful expression, recounted the day's events to the townspeople, conveying the harsh truth of the lost children. After the children disappeared, the townspeople were engulfed in deep sorrow and regret. At night, instead of the joyful laughter of children, only silence and tears remained.
Our greed has cost us so dearly.
One adult murmured through tears.
I truly regret it. If only we'd been more careful.
Another resident added in a sorrowful tone. The mayor and elders felt the sting of their mistakes and vowed never again to let greed cloud their judgment. After the children disappeared, the town of Hamelin was left with nothing but silence. The once lively streets, once filled with the laughter and chatter of children, now echoed with an eerie emptiness. The shops stood open, but no small hands reached for sweets. The town, once filled with life and joy, had become a place of deep, unshakable stillness. Even as time passed, the tragedy of Hamelin was never forgotten. The townspeople commemorated that day as the Day of the Pied Piper and vowed never to repeat the same mistakes.
Our legend will live on forever,
declared an adult firmly.
Let's never forget this story, filled with both the laughter and sorrow of our children.
Another resident proclaimed passionately. Throughout the town, murals and monuments honoring the Pied Piper and the lost children were erected, ensuring that the pain and lesson of that day would be passed on to future generations. The tale of Hamelin left behind an important lesson, a stern warning about the dreadful consequences of breaking promises.
From now on, let's live with honesty and trust.
A teacher said warmly to the children.
We must all remember this lesson in our hearts.
Another adult added emphatically. The children nodded, determined that this precious lesson would never be forgotten throughout their lives.
I hope today's fairy tale brought you joy and happiness. I'll return with an even more special story next time. Thank you for watching.